Wouldn't it be cool to use some 3D pen techniques to make some sweet, amazing looking chocolate creations? This topic really intrigues me, so let's see what's out there for existing chocolate pens. This looks promising. Let's see how much it is. Only $9.99.99? Yeah. Okay, this looks much better. Let's give this a try. Here's what the outside of the box looks like, so take a good look because this is actually going to be important for later on in the video. Let's open this bad boy up, see what's inside, see how it works. So for $1,000 you get the pen itself, these plastic pouches for holding the chocolate, some cheap plastic molds with preformed creations like a bee or a butterfly, and finally the cap/nozzle of the pen. First, I'm going to give you a very high-level overview of how this is supposed to work. So there's a motor inside that drives a plunger, which is this right here. When triggered, that plunger will move forward and compress a bag full of chocolate, which looks like this. This bag has a stopper in it, and I'll show you how to load it a little bit later. The bag then gets inserted into the pen, and once you press this brown button, that will trigger the plunger, which will compress the bag, and that in turn will dispense the chocolate. To complete the assembly, we add in this cover, and then we put this locking ring in place. And when you want to dispense chocolate, you turn it on, remove the stopper, and then you're ready to go. For all you mechanical geeks out there, here's a close-up shot of the plunger. One thing I thought you might be interested in was the size difference when compared to standard 3D pens. These are of course bigger than normal pens, but they can sit somewhat comfortably in your hand. I mean, just look at the size difference between this white 3D pen and the chocolate pen. This thing is just massive, and unfortunately it's very hard to grip, and it's also hard to grip and toggle the button at the same time. Finally, it's very top heavy because the motor and the batteries are up top, and that just makes it very tippy. Here's a side view of all of them in quick succession so you can really compare. Another interesting to note is the difference in the size of the nozzle opening. We'll come back to this. And now for everyone's favorite part, the chocolate. Another challenging aspect of these chocolate pens is attaching the nozzle to these plastic bags that are filled with chocolate. In some other YouTube videos, I've seen the users have a really hard time and a very messy time when completing this step. I decided to try a different route where I loaded the solid chocolate chips into the bag, then I attached the nozzle, and then I melted the chocolate. That seemed to work a whole lot better. Attaching this clamping ring is a real pain, and it feels like you need another hand to do it easily. Now we have to melt that delicious, delicious chocolate. Yummy. Totally unrelated note. Did you know that you can really burn chocolate? I sure didn't. But you know what? Even burnt, it still tastes pretty good. Keep this whole part of the preparation in mind, because once we start using the pen, you'll see why it's important. These are the molds I showed you earlier, and we're going to start by using them and the pen to make a bee and a peace sign. Here's our first use of the pen, where I'm filling the bee mold. And this is what the pen sounds like during normal operation. I know the view isn't great in this shot, so don't get antsy, I show it from the side view for the next one. As promised, here's a side view of me filling the peace sign mold. And yes, I am exaggerating by lifting the pen up and down, but I want you to see the flow of chocolate coming out of this thing. Once the mold is full, I'm using the stopper to smooth it out and evenly distribute the chocolate. After about a 5-minute trip to the freezer, here's our hardened peace sign still in the mold. Let's take a closer look and then compare it to the picture on the box. This looks decent, although not nearly as sharp around the edges. The bee got a similar treatment in the freezer, so let's pop it out and take a look. This is what it looks like up close. And now let's compare with the picture on the box to see what we think. It's not bad, but there's no way we're getting that level of sharpness in those details. And with multiple colors, there's no way you're getting details like the smile in those eyes. Okay, this was totally unintentional. One of the fingers broke off, and this is what I was left with. Okay, so that was using the mold, so now let's try making some chocolate creations freehand. I'm letting this play out at normal speed for a reason, so just bear with me. So this is what it takes to make just one letter. Okay, let's speed up and get to the end of our test word, which is, well, test. That clicking noise you're hearing is the plunger being at the end of its stroke. So yes, we've already run out of chocolate with just one word. Now I'm going to try to freehand something else. I'm going to show you from the side so you get a better view. I'm again going to let this play out at normal speed so you can really get an idea of what we're dealing with. The chocolate pen doesn't have any retraction, and it really shows in this view. What I mean by retraction is that the chocolate pen doesn't have any way to stop or reverse the flow of chocolate. So every time I have to wait for the excess chocolate to stop flowing and blend that excess into what I've already laid down. You can really see that here as I lay down the smile. And I'm just waiting and blending and waiting and blending. Let's speed this up and get it done. So the results of the chocolate pen after just one layer are, let's say, not great at all. Let's compare it to a 3D pen and see what the difference looks like visually. Immediately, you should be able to see that the level of control and detail possible with the 3D pen is just way better. And the plastic just hardens so much faster, making it much easier to build up multiple layers. With the 3D pen smiley face, I'm just winging it, trying to show that it's so much easier to get the detail that you want with a 3D pen. One of my friends had an interesting idea to try to solve the chocolate hardening issue, and that's to use magic shell, which is a type of chocolate that hardens really quickly when on a very cold surface. You can also see here that when you're loading liquid chocolate into this, it has the potential to get messy pretty quickly. The magic shell is just pouring out of the pen. I don't even think I'm pressing the motor button. But it does harden way faster when done in an ice pack. I think it hardened in maybe a minute. So here I'm adding a second layer on top of the first. And I'm going for broke with the third layer, also so you can get the nice side view to see what's going on. The magic gel definitely helps with the hardening issue, but isn't a magic bullet. Earlier in the video I had noted the huge difference in nozzle size, and that ties in directly with one of my biggest issues with the chocolate pen. And that's the fact that basically as soon as you get started making something, you run out of chocolate. And then you have to go through the lengthy process of preparing and melting another bag of chocolate. In addition, there's a large amount of wasted chocolate, like you can see here in the bag, that just never gets used and invariably gets thrown away. I mean, heck, you can pretty much get the same results by squeezing the chocolate out of the bag by hand as I'm doing here. And then there's the box and the cool looking creation shown all over it. I mean, they're definitely trying to convince you can make these creations shown here with this pen. But when you read the fine print, you find they're all illustrations. Great, thanks for that. Well, as you can see, this chocolate pen didn't even come close to what my hopes were. I'm sure I was hoping for way too much, but the way the marketing was done really annoys me. Showing all these illustrations and passing them off as creations you might be able to make seems kind of shady to me, even with this disclaimer on the front of the box. In my opinion, I'd advise people to skip this chocolate pen. Using it freehand, you can't make much at all, it runs out super fast, and it's very time consuming to reload. Also, there's a ton of wasted chocolate that gets trapped in the packets themselves. The single color molded items look fine, but you could just as easily make them by buying some silicone molds, filling them with a spoon, piping bag, or other cheap method for less total cost. So yeah, skip this, but I'm curious to see if you all think I should try to hack together my own chocolate 3D pen. Let me know down in the comments if you want to see that video. Want to see me use flexible filament with a 3D pen? Check out this video. Or just check out these 3D pen tutorials. Finally, if you find any of this interesting, be sure to subscribe and ring that bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.